What's up, Navigating Academia family? This is your buddy Dr. J. Singh, your personal academic mentor when it comes to getting into APA accredited school psychology PhD programs. Super excited to be able to come to you guys today to be able to answer a question that I get all the time, which is, Dr. Singh, so how do I figure out whether or not a given program is actually accredited by the APA, i.e. the American Psychological Association? Now, luckily, this is pretty easy to figure out, and so this will be a brief video because I'm just sharing my screen here to show you how to be able to find these programs. Now, the idea here is that it could be something where you already think you know where you want to go and you just want to make sure that the program's accredited, but the tool that I'm going to show you today is also really useful if you're just in that exploratory phase and you say, you know what, Dr. Singh, I just want to figure out absolutely every program that's in my state, if you live in the US, in my province, if you live in Canada, or just absolutely anywhere in either of those two countries or both countries. And this is going to be something that's really going to help you out for these programs to be able to really whittle things down and make sure that you're only applying. Remember, my recommendation, if it's a PhD program, is 3 to 5 programs. Because at the end of the day, for the PhD programs, it is all about goodness of fit with the target supervisor. And no, you cannot develop good fits with target supervisors and develop those personal connections if you are applying to 10 to 15, 20 even programs. There's a lot of really bad information out there on the internet and a lot of really bad information that people give one another about how many places to apply to. But it's very unfortunate, and I can tell you guys that I have basically never heard of a situation where somebody has said, you know what, I'm so glad that I applied to more programs because then I got into more programs. Usually it is ironically the opposite. I have been working with literally hundreds of you guys. It's been such a pleasure in terms of one-on-one consultation to get you guys into your target programs over the last 3 years. You can find details in terms of my website where you can book sessions with me down in the description box below. It's www.jphoenixsing.com. But I have had so many of you come to me after you have applied to this past year, 2 specific cases I remember. One of you applied to 14 programs, one of you applied to 15 programs. You got 14 rejections and then 15 rejections. And when I go and I take a look at your application materials, particularly your personal statement or your letters of recommendation, it is very clear that you did not focus on building personal connections, and instead you were looking at the names of schools or just generically, oh, this one faculty member is doing, you know, the general kind of work that I'm interested in. I sent them an email beforehand, you may say, and, you know, they said they were taking students, so now I have a personal connection. That is not a personal connection, okay? And this is a huge problem that people have. They do not focus enough on the level of the individual target supervisor. They do not know how to be able to search for programs. So if you need help in doing these things, figuring out the programs, building the relationships, preferably over the course of at least 1 calendar year. At least. If you're watching this and you're a freshman or you're a sophomore in college, that's when you should be starting this process of prepping for grad school. This is not too early. If you know that this is what you guys want to do, the competition is insane right now. Has been for at least the last 5 years that I've been doing this, right? In terms of working with you guys. So just know that this is not something where, you know, all of a sudden acceptance rates are going to jump to like 15, 20%. It's just not the case, okay? Especially not for better programs where we're looking at acceptance rates of like really 5% or lower. Right, it's a little bit better for school psych programs than just generic clinical psych programs, but keep in mind that there are fewer APA accredited school psych programs than there are clinical psych programs. So the people who really want to do this, it's an ish show, as they would say, right? Some years. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you the super useful tool, though. I want you to go to Google. I'm on Google Chrome right now. And I want you to type in APA accredited programs. First link that's going to come up is from the American Psychological Association. Click APA accredited programs. It'll take you to this handy dandy little landing page. Scroll down and click on Start Your Search. This will open a new tab. Here you're going to find a little search tool that APA has developed, really useful. You'll figure out up here the last time that this information was updated. That's really helpful, okay? The next thing you're going to do here under column 1 is to say, are you interested in stuff in both the US and Canada? Or you can say only in the US or only in Canada. So I live in the state of Virginia. So here, maybe I'm only interested in Virginia programs, right? So I would go down, maybe, God forbid, I have a sick parent, or I'm married and I have kids and I just can't pick up and move. Okay, so if that's the case, let's say I want to stay in Virginia. Fair enough. Okay, then over here in substantive area, okay, we're going to scroll all the way to the bottom and choose school psychology. Now, if you're interested in a combined program like clinical and school psychology or counseling school psychology, fair enough. Again, there's going to be fewer of those, but my recommendation is as a catch-all, you just say school psychology. And then you can choose whether you're interested in a clinical psych PhD program, school psychology PhD program, or PsyD program. Okay, so right now I'm just interested in everything. So I'll say all degrees, and then I'll click search. Okay, so here we go. In the state of Virginia, there are no APA accredited programs as such, okay? That's really useful information. So let's say that I want to zoom out a little bit, and I'll say, you know what? Let's go ahead and go back. Let's just say all states, okay, in the United States, and I say search. Okay, here we go. So this is going to be a laundry list of programs, a whole bunch of them, okay? Most important thing over here is accreditation status. If we click on that, okay, it's going to provide me with first all the actually accredited programs. Those are the ones we want to focus on. Anything down here about things being inactive or on contingency, none of those. We're not going to apply to any of those programs. Even if the programs are at bigger name schools, right? So state schools, for example, like University of Rhode Island or, you know, any of these. No, sorry, we're not going to do it. Okay, it's too high risk. Okay, so do not apply to those programs. Sorry. Next thing we can do, though, right, is sort by state. Right, so for example, maybe you live in Delaware. So we would zoom down here. Okay, if there's nothing in Delaware, my luck today is not great. Okay, maybe I am in Georgia. Okay, let's go to Georgia. Okay, so here I've got 2 in Georgia. So here we go, Georgia State, right? So GSU. So here it says the city that it's in. I love this column here about the programs themselves. Why? Because as you can tell, everything is a hyperlink. Click on that hyperlink, you're going to get a pop out. This is going to have 3 useful pieces of info. Number 1, the actual URL for the landing page of that program, where you can do a really, really deep dive into that program, what it offers, and so forth, okay? And this is just incredibly useful information. And you should really just scour these websites for as much information as you can, particularly when it comes to writing your personal statement. Any unique jargon terminology on this website, you want to inject that into your personal statement as well, okay? Second thing that's super useful is the address. Let's say that you end up being lucky enough to get an interview there. My recommendation is not to send an email thank you, but rather to overnight. So yes, it'll be a little costly, but do it. Overnight a physical thank you card, right? And this is going to basically say where you can send it, okay? Super useful. Little executive summary or whatever, but we don't really need that. More what we need is the information about how long they've been accredited. If it's been this long since 1979, even though the next site date visit is going to be pretty soon, I'm making this video in 2021, so it's going to be next year. If it's a newer program, it's been accredited only over the last 5 to 10 years. That could be a little bit worrisome. Could be a yellow flag. Not a red flag, yellow flag. But in a case like this, right, where it's a named school, been accredited for forever, even though it's next year, I think you'll be okay, all right? Now, the number 1 most useful thing is down here under student admissions, outcomes, and other data. I love that they have hyperlinks for the majority of programs for these. Usually it ends up being a PDF like this, and this is going to be the most useful document ever, okay? Down here, you can take a look, for example, at the average length of time it takes to be able to complete the program. So this is a program that takes really quite some time to complete. Usually, when I take a look at the median number of years, we're dealing with 6 years. Here, it's 8 years, very consistently over the last, at least 3 cycles, okay? And if we take a look over multiple cycles before then, you have 0 people who end up graduating, in these cases, it would be 0 individuals graduating, right? And here, it would be, 6 years, which is standard, but going back again, we have 8 years. So on and so forth, okay? Now, other useful information is going to have to do with program costs, tuition, and so forth. Sometimes you're going to get GRE information, GPA information. I find that exceptionally helpful. The most helpful thing is usually on the first page. Some programs have it, this program does not, and it is going to walk you through how many individuals applied, how many were offered spots, and that's the most useful info, not the number of people who enrolled, i.e. matriculated. And that'll usually be the third kind of cell in the table, is in each year how many people actually matriculated into the program, so actually enrolled. Okay, that information is either going to give you peace of mind or it's going to freak you out. But you guys know me. At the end of the day, I'm a huge believer. If you want to go to grad school, go in with both of your eyes wide open. Do not think to yourself, hey, I'm a good person. I just want to help people. I've got good grades. I got a good GPA. All of my friends, my family members, my supervisor all tell me that, I'm going to get into all the programs that I want to apply to. Okay, I can tell you guys that I very rarely meet anybody where that isn't the case, where, anybody has been really straightforward with them, right, which is my job. And my job, the only reason that I'm straightforward is that if you know what program you want to go to, you and I will sit down and we will go through all the data, all the information, right? And we're going to pick, again, 3 to 5 programs, right? We're not going to pick 10, 20 programs. That is a recipe for failure. Okay, I'm telling you right now, there's so much bad information out there online. It just blows my mind, right? I've been on the inside of this for long enough that I know what's up. All right, so really, I highly recommend this. First doctorate from Oxford, second doctorate in clinical psych, situation where I've written 5 books, 85 publications now. I'm an insider when it comes to this stuff. You guys can trust me, okay? I know it may be scary, only applying to 3 to 5 programs, but if you decide that you want to go that route, then you can really max out your perceived goodness of fit with the target program. That's what's going to get you in. All right, guys, thank you so much for your valuable time. Look forward to seeing you in the next one. Please do subscribe if you haven't already and book a session because I'd love to talk to you. Again, www.jay, which is Jay, Phoenix, Phoenix, Singh, SINGH.com. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.